Yes, so once again, welcome to everyone online and those who have made the effort to be here. It is a different experience altogether when we actually engage, and can, make that commitment to make ourselves free for that 1.5 hours or 1 hour. So our main aim out of this meditation course is, of course, to learn the art of meditation, how to actually meditate. And we hear this word. Who has never heard the word meditation? Anyone? We've all heard this word meditation, dhyan, or in different languages. And of course, we all understand the immense value of meditation. That's why we are here. And there's so much to explore in this area. Our main aim would be to really experience what is being said and what is being delivered in the sessions. And if there's any blockage that is not making it possible for me to experience that, we can identify that and also get rid of it. Yeah. So any questions or any comments before we start? I think for this session today, we won't be able to hear the people that are actually present in the room online. It's just that we have a different audio setup. It didn't work out. But next time we can also, the people who are online can hear those who are face to face. We will talk a little bit about how to create a shift, internal shift, because our whole idea is not to live in a monastery or go up and live in the mountains and experience peace. Our whole idea is to keep working, um, look after children, look after family, go to parties, go to holidays, and yet remain in that experience of absolute peace and of absolute harmony. And harmony with what, actually? What do you feel we should be harmonizing with? Harmony with what? What do you want harmony with? Let's start with that.
Your inner self?
Harmony with inner self? Yeah, anything else?
Excuse me, can you speak some loudly?
Okay, I will try it.
Thanks.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, you were saying something?
Oh, no.
No,
With
I think I heard harmony with thoughts. With thoughts. Okay, anything else? Harmony with?
Mind and heart, like they're normally in conflict.
Yeah, there's an internal conflict that goes on inside. And so if there's harmony there, we want harmony with that.
We have people saying life, self,
Yes. Yes.
people, environment,
Hmm.
harmony with opposite things,
Yes.
self and people around, speak soft, harmony with
Yeah.
ultimate truth, harmony with
Yes.
relations, all those.
Yes. Harmony with life, harmony with people. Isn't that important to have harmony with people? Harmony that your people that you're living with, the people that you're interacting with. Does anyone want harmony at work? Yeah.
Yes.
So that's all part of the deal, that we want harmony with, in essence, our environment. Whoever is present in our environment, the people, the tasks, the duties, responsibility, mainly people, we want to harmonize. And if there is disharmony, then what's your immediate response? How do you deal with in an environment with people where there is no harmony? It can be with kids, it can be with at work, but how do you deal with that?
Frustrated, angry.
Frustrate, angry, what else?
Stress.
Stress, what else?
You can withdraw as well.
You can withdraw. Yeah. Yes, we can withdraw.
Being silent.
Being silent, internally making plans to leave, yeah, or internally making plans to how to change this person. Maybe I can talk to the manager, maybe I can, do something that makes this person change. If there is something within the family, I'll talk to the person who I feel can help me make that change. And so our immediate response to wherever there is a mismatch, wherever there is disharmony, is those emotions that we just mentioned, or to change that situation, or to maybe withdraw from that situation. And within this course that we are doing, we will deal with everything, and we will see from that perspective of having spiritual glasses on. How we talk about in the world that do we all see things in the same way?
No.
No. Even if you live in the same house, even if you eat the same food, you have the same routine. Do you think you see things in the same way? No? And what makes us see things differently? Why is it that we see things differently?
Our thinking,
Our thinking, upbringing, conditioning, past experiences, and all that contributes for us to see things differently. And so, even in this room, we can have very different idea, we can have a very different vision. And so we can say that we all are wearing different glasses. We're all wearing different glasses, and we see through those glasses, essentially. And now our aim is to see things from the spiritual glasses, the glasses of truth, the glasses of what's very obvious. And so when we talk about what's very obvious, about the environment that we are in, is there something that is absolutely obvious, 100% guaranteed? What are those things that you feel that's very obvious about the environment that you're in for all of us? Anything that is 100% guaranteed for all of us?
Air.
Lubricant.
There's one answer, yeah, many answers online as well, but one thing that has come up is death. So end of the body. Yeah, that's certain for all of us. Anything else? No, nothing?
no matter what life goes on,
Yes.
like we've all been through a lot of things and we think we'll not be able to survive,
Make it, yeah.
but life goes on.
Life goes on. And so one of the thing is that the show goes on, the show must go on, and the show does go on. Another thing is change. Yes, change is absolutely guaranteed for all of us. Change is the only constant. In fact, we say change is the only constant. And so for everyone and each one of our environment, one thing that is absolutely compulsory is that the things there are going to change, and they will change because they are under the law that it has to change. It'll keep changing. And so when we say that something is going to change, and it can change, I can make, so as as an owner of a company or a manager in a department, I have absolute freedom to make plans. I have absolute freedom to create a vision, tell all my teammates about it, give deadlines, create a schedule, tell everyone to follow it. But, but if I have that understanding parallelly, that I can, create a vision, have a plan, tell everyone about it, yet there can be a change. Why? Because when we talk about change, first thing that comes in is the aspect that I cannot control it. If change is the only constant, then it's not in my control. Planning, creating a plan, creating a schedule, letting everyone know about it is in my control. But after that, what happens is not in my control. And so a spiritually wise or an emotionally intelligent being is one who has ambitions, who has plans, who has visions, but also knows that change is the only constant, and is if things can change and if things are not in my control, then I can be ready for what is unexpected. And so that is emotional intelligence, that is spiritually, that's a big, that's a great personality to have, to live by that attitude, that there's no problem in having a vision, there's absolutely no problem in having ambitions, but be prepared that something else can happen. And so that is the one quality of a being who is using the spiritual glasses. I'm saying that this is my family, I'm saying this is my team, I've worked with them for 15 years, I'm saying this is my children, but you know, change is the constant in our environment. And that applies to everywhere else. And when I say change, then it also means that it's not in my control. And so I'm saying my children, I'm saying my project, my team, but with that understanding parallelly that it's not, in my control. Something else can happen as well. And so with that attitude, what happens is there is negligible chances of being angry, being frustrated. If I tell myself, this morning I look at the GPS, it shows me that it's 20 minutes to work, and I'm all, happy. And then something happens on the way, it's 35 minutes. Now it's going to take me an hour to get to work. But just when I was, setting up that GPS and I saw 20 minutes, if I can just introduce for a second this idea that, you know, very good, but what happens next won't be in my control. That is where I put myself in charge of my own emotions. And it just takes a second to do that. It just brings a second to bring that awareness, to emerge, wear those spiritual glasses. And all of us, because we are spiritual beings, to use those glasses is our natural quality, something that we are, and to be that is the most natural thing, normal thing for us. But the more we have, um, we are using different glasses because of different experiences and different conditions. So each one's perspective is different. Something can be very stressful for one personality, one person, and someone else is quite relaxed about it. They're very easy about it. They're not getting stressed. And how do we know about someone's glasses? How do we find out, if we were to find out, what are the sort of glasses that I'm wearing? What do you think is the indicator? How can we know what glasses am I wearing or are they wearing?
By their reaction to certain situations.
By their reactions to situations?
Actions.
Actions? Actions, reactions. What else? Anything else?
How we feel after that incident has happened, or how we feel post that.
How we feel.
The energy when we talk to them.
Yes, the energy when we talk to them. Anything else? If you don't have the permission to spend time with them and see their reactions, is there any other way we can know what the quality of glasses someone is using?
Got some answers. Behavior, their actions, words, and thoughts.
Yes. Perfect. Perfect. And so one very easy indicator of the glasses that someone is wearing is in each one of our cultures, and with all the differences that exist, something that is very common is language. Language is very common. And in language as well, there are some words that are very common, absolutely, popular in every language. And so one of them is I. The word I, the word mine, the word my. So these are absolutely common words. How many times during the day do we use the word I? Mine, my. And so what are we associating I, mine, and my is a very clear indicator of our perspective. You know, how I see myself, how I look at others. It's a very clear indicator of what my viewpoint is, what my perspective is. You know? So if I wake up in the morning and physically I have something, happening, my hair is not in the perfect, form and shape, or something has popped up on my face, and my instant reaction is that I have this and I'm looking this way and I feel this, then it's a very clear, it gives me a very clear indication that I understand myself as someone who is, on the surface, at the level of skin. My idea of me is the skin. No? So it gives a very clear indicator. So we can just observe for a couple of minutes of how do I use I, and what am I, seeing as mine and my. And whatever we identify, the words my and mine with, what's the, subsequent stages? If I say that this is my, this pen is my pen. Yes. What are the next, what are the emotions that I can expect? What are the emotions that can come up, as soon as I say this is my pen? I can use this pen, I can use this pen all the time. I can use this laptop all the time. But to associate my laptop and my pen, is there any emotions that can come up with that?
Fear to lose.
Attachment.
Fear to lose, attachment. Yeah,
Good memories associated with it.
good memories associated with it. What else?
Possessive.
Yes,
Yeah.
possessiveness. And so if this is my pen and a child walks in and says, to his mother, oh, I love this pen and I want it. Yeah. So, there's obviously, because I've associated the word my with it. So, one of the principles for for uh, for someone who uses spiritual glasses is that we can use everything. We can use absolutely everything, but without owning anything. Without owning anything, I can use things just like when we go to a hotel on a vacation. We use everything. We can enjoy, we can use everything, but we know that none of this is mine. Yes. And even if we go to someone else's house, at work, I'm sure many of us get a work laptop, we get a work phone. We use it all the time. In fact, we use it, more than our personal laptop, more than our personal mobile phone. And yet, I know that anytime when I leave the company, I have to hand it back. Yes. And so the attitude that entire time, if you look at when you're using a mobile phone that has been given to you by someone and a mobile phone that you have bought, for yourself, is there a difference between how you use the two devices? Do you feel there's a difference? What's the difference?
One is just for business, the other you can.
One
use
is just for
personal.
business and the other one is
For personal use.
for personal. And so is there a difference in our attitudes?
You're much more cautious when it's yours. You tend to
Okay.
be sometimes when you have got it using your mind.
Okay.
One is yours and the other one belongs
No.
to someone else.
Yes, other one belongs to a
The
company.
attachment won't be there. Yeah,
Okay.
the other one. So
With the
We
business phone,
use
you
with
always
care.
like you have to return it.
Yes.
You can-
Yes. So with something that's not mine, that I don't own, I know that I have to return it. There's something that came up online. Can you?
We use with care.
We use with care. Actually, really think about it. if I give you a mobile phone, if I give you my personal mobile phone, or let's just say I give you any mobile phone, and you have your own, which one are you going to be more cautious about?
The one you gave somebody else's.
But we got a different answer previously. So what's the absolute right one? So the one which, you,
One that is not of mine.
which one do we use with more caution?
The one which is someone else's.
The one which is someone else's.
Yeah.
If you get a house and you're renting it, and you have a house that you own, is there a difference in attitude?
There is actually a difference.
Yeah, there is a difference.
Yeah.
And, yet we feel that we have to own everything to use it.
Yeah.
And we work on this program, internally we have this programming that I need to call it mine to use it, without realizing that everything that we call mine actually subconsciously brings carelessness with it. Subconsciously it brings an energy of taken for granted. My phone, I can drop it, pick it up, but if it's someone else's phone, I won't, I cannot afford to drop it. I'll be very careful, and I'll be very careful to get it fixed. And so something behind which I have the attitude that I don't own it, it brings responsibility. It brings more responsibility, it brings more care, it brings more caution, it brings more, uh, even if it's not mine, there is detachment. It's not mine, I don't own it. But parallelly, the attitude is quite of love and care. Whereas something that I know, a close friend and a friend that you're not very close to, the difference with how we can, we may, if I'm canceling a party, if I'm not going to, their house, if it's a friend, I will want to, apologize. I will want to make sure they don't feel a certain way. If it's my friend, or my sister or my brother, we may leave it to the last minute, or we may feel, why to tell them. And so see how, something that I own brings this attitude of taken for granted. We won't value it as much. We will not value it as much. And when we talk in, the terms of environment, coming back to our discussion of the environment, how many of you have the citizenship of this country? How many of you have the citizenship? Yeah. Permanent residency? Permanent residency? Yeah. Everyone has that because they have citizenship. And so how many of you have the permanent residency of this planet? No one? Do you have permanent PR citizenship of this planet? Yes? No?
No.
No? And so if we don't have the permanent citizenship of staying here, then who are we here? While we are here, who are we then?
Visitors, yes.
Yes. Visitors, tenants, anything else?
Temporary residents.
Temporary residents. Temporary residents. Yes. And so really from thinking about what's absolutely obvious, something that is very obvious, if I ignore it, there are consequences to that, and consequences that just feel, they just feel they're not very clever, like I could have avoided them. I had someone visiting, from India to Melbourne, and they went to a shopping mall. And in that shopping mall, there was this big brand, I think Gucci or some Prada, and they saw this board saying 50% sale. And they went in, thinking like in Melbourne, this is such a great deal. I've never experienced it in my own country. And so they went in and they got like, 2 bags and something, a belt or something. And they went on the counter, ready to pay. And they saw the bill was like, $50,000. And she said, well, it's, sale, 50% sale. That's what I read outside. And this lady at the counter said, didn't you read at the bottom that it said only for members? Did you miss that? And she said, I did, she didn't see that. And in this case, it's the same thing. It is so obvious that, and when we miss these things, imagine paying $50,000 just because you missed something that was so obvious that was written there, but you missed it. For whatever reason, out of innocence, out of not knowing. If some of us decide to go to USA, and we are driving there, yes, and some incident happens on the road, and you just say that, well, in Australia I drive on the right side and I didn't know. Do you think they will not find you? No, they'll say, oh, how sweet. You just didn't know. You just didn't know that. That's so sweet. Does that happen?
No.
Does that happen? That doesn't happen, because you're ignoring something that is just against the laws, that is just a simple rule. And if you ignore it, there is a consequence. And wisdom, spiritual wisdom means to never, to ignore, to avoid absolutely every, sorrow, every disappointment, every hurt that we feel is so normal. To not live a life in those emotions. That's spirituality. That's wisdom. And so, in a ordinary way, we learn through mistakes. We learn sometimes through pain. Yeah, when there is, someone's not having a good diet, someone's not taking care of their sleep, and that keeps going on. That cycle continues for a month, and when there is a consequence, and they have to go to the doctor, and the doctor tells them, you're not doing this anymore. That's when you actually learn. And so the whole idea of spirituality, wisdom, is that we learn before pain comes. Living life without pain. And how to actually do that, we'll come back to this main aspect, how to actually live without unnecessarily taking sorrow, unnecessarily feeling disappointed, unnecessarily feeling stressed. How to actually do that, just remembering a very simple principle, introducing this idea whenever possible, and making time to introduce this idea that things in my environment are out of my control. Things in my environment, I can't control them. And just how we go to someone else's place as a guest, and we absolutely, we know we can't control their kids, we know we can't control their routine. And how are we still so happy, so light, so easy? Because we don't necessarily need to control things to be happy. And we know this internally. We don't need to control, we don't need to own to be happy. We can use everything without owning things, yet be absolutely at peace. We can go somewhere, not know anything, yet have a great time. Yes. And it just has to be applied to our environment. This idea this shift has to begin where we live, in that environment that we interact with the people that we're in, the office that we go to. That's where we need to get that idea introduced in couple of times. And so the question that is very important for us to answer is it possible to live without, live without expectations?
That would be the ideal world.
That will be the ideal world, to live without expectations. So let's talk about two people. Someone, let's say a stranger. And you don't know anything about them. Like in this room, many of us are strangers to each other. We don't know them. Is there, like, if we were to offer, if we had asked people to get their own notebooks and pens, yeah, And for example, in this room, many don't have a notebook or a pen, and you offered them, with your best intentions. Many of you like to help. Many people are kind, and so they offer their notebook and pen. Take out a page or give their whole notebook. You take notes, and I'll just listen. I can write later on, but I give my notebook and pen to you. And this person, I'm sure you guys are not like that, but this person says, what a rubbish pen, and just throws it. And the notebook, I'm not going to write in this notebook. Yeah? And they just throw it. Will you feel upset or disappointed? Yes. For some time. Yeah, it's a stranger. We don't know anything about it. We had the best intentions. Someone messages you on LinkedIn that I see that you're working in this company. Can you get me a job here? And with your helpful and kind nature, you go to your manager, tell them about this message that you've got. And next day you see this person come and they're having this interview. Third day they get the job and they never say thank you to you. They're just in their own cabin, enjoying their life. They're posting on LinkedIn, I've got a job. I'm so grateful to God. Yeah. And they never say thank you to you. Do you feel a bit upset?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so who made you upset?
Expectation.
So who made that? Who made you upset and who made that expectation? Yes. So is it 100% sure that they didn't make me upset? Yeah. If I didn't have that expectation that they were going to say thank you, at least, basic manners. Yeah. All this reasoning that comes in, I'm not asking a lot, but just some basic, acknowledgement. Let's say, we don't have any of that expectation and they did the same thing. Will we get upset? No, no. So who made me upset was my own expectation. Yes. And so a simple expectation from a stranger, at least they could say thank you.
Nice.
That puts me in the position of taking disappointment, of taking hurt, taking sorrow. And the whole question is, can we avoid that? Can we avoid that? Yeah. Now what the answer is? Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
In terms of yes or no, can we avoid that? Yes, we'll
We
talk.
can't avoid.
We're getting, that's it's difficult and all that. But basically, just to introduce this question to ourselves, we can avoid that. We can 100%. And in this term of, this LinkedIn message, someone got a job. If we uh, talk at the level of, mentalities or attitudes, who is a slave here and who is a master? Who was the slave here? So I got them the job, they got the job, And so who is the slave?
We are the slave of our minds and our thoughts.
Yeah. And so ultimately they've got the job, they're happy. I'm upset. I'm so hurt, that they didn't acknowledge. And so who's the slave? And who's the master?
Mind is the same.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, your child, 5-year-old child, you're 45 years old, and this child, you have asked them every day at 5 p.m. you're going to do your homework, and at 6 p.m. you can watch the TV. And they do that every day. 5 p.m. they do the homework, and they say, Mama, I've done it. And then they're watching the TV. One fine day they decide, well, I'm not going to do the homework. Yeah. And I'm not in the mood. Yeah. And they just, they decide to sleep or they decide to watch the TV for 3 hours. And so now who is the master? Who's the master? The kid. The child, the 5-year-old is a master. They just decided I'm not going to do the homework. And so they are the master. And I am the one who's getting agitated. I'm the one who's getting so hurt and, angry. And so in those situations, I am the slave. Yes, I need to understand this and use that, understand this language, that who is the master and who is the slave. It doesn't depend on age, it doesn't depend on positions, it does not depend on cultures. No? Slave and master, the one who creates the expectation will always end up in a position of a slave. Yes. And so same situation. Child has to do homework. It's good for them to do the homework, obviously. Do it at 5 p.m., even better. And so I asked them to do it at 5 p.m. So, but now without any expectation. How can I do something without expectation? I have to get people to do something. I have to make my team do something. I have to, ask Mr. Husband to get groceries and everything. But how to do that without expectation?
Attaching it to the sense of you, like rather than just being like doing what is right, rather than attaching it to you. Yeah. Not able to like articulate it well, but
Yes, yes. Anything else? So the way to, so leading this life very simply, very easily, asking people to do stuff, making a plan, making a schedule, all that can happen without the attitude of a slave. No? When we talk about expectations, what we're actually saying is no attitude of slave, no slavery. No? And no slavery means I am prepared internally that something else can happen. I give myself that permission to acknowledge the fact of life that change is the only constant. Change is constant. Yes. And if change is constant, then things are out of my control. Yes. And if things are out of my control, I cannot control them, then there's no reason for me to get upset and sad on something that I cannot control. So I am very clear that I am the one who can expect, become a slave, or I am the one who can ask people, who can give directions, who can give their team a lecture on, what to do, when to do, but without any, but in the attitude of a master, as a master. Doing it as a master means just prepared, internally prepared that something else can happen as well. GPS shows me 20 minutes, something else can happen, and I am a master. I'm not sitting there criticizing the government, the roads, population, Melbourne. And so for 20 minutes, being in that space of slave and slave who is feeling I am miserable and I'm suffering and I'm angry, does it actually solve any problem? Does it solve the situation? Has it ever solved the situation? Complaining, talking about your colleague, how she is, every time she comes in, takes the credit. Has it ever solved with these emotions? Has it made things worse?
Yes.
Yes, it definitely has made things worse, but never solved. Anger, complaining, misery has never solved anything, but it has definitely made things worse. Yes, so we can do everything, but as a master, like they say, live life king size. So this is an actual king who is always prepared for something unexpected to happen. Yes. And in that point, they make themselves absolutely free of any sorrow, any stress, any anger. They're 100% free. So we have the option to put ourselves in the position of receiving only happiness, only lightness, only being easy. So we can put ourselves in this position, or we ourselves can, place ourselves in a position where I cannot help but be disappointed, feel hurt. I cannot help just because I missed that line that it is only for members. Now I have to pay 50,000. What can I do? Just because I'm going to another country and I didn't read the rules that you're not allowed to take this and this on the plane, Now you just have to deal with the consequences. It doesn't help that I didn't know. I didn't, how many times when you take the flight to Australia, how many times does it say, don't bring this on board, don't bring this. It will not help when you say, I didn't understand, I didn't, how many times they say that, they mention that when you, get off the plane and you say, I didn't know, we are still going to find you. And that's how life is. That's how our environment is. Our saying or our understanding that I just didn't know that puts me in a position of receiving, sorrow for free, for free. And so each time I have experienced disappointment, I have experienced hurt, I have experienced sorrow, who was the reason? Who was the cause? My expectation. Yes, my expectation. And so instead of expectation, being prepared, just being prepared. Before I expect, just being prepared. I am, giving this notebook to this person. They might not even say thank you. Do I want to give it? Yes, it's okay. No, I will want a thank you. Then leave it, leave it. No. So we can start, there. And spiritual glasses, um, we can't help but our, the glasses that we have been using of different colors, blue, black, green, whatever, we can't help but they just come on, by themselves, and we start seeing the world, we start seeing people through those glasses. But consciously creating time to use the spiritual glasses. And the spiritual glasses see the world. How do they see the world that we're in? How does a person who is wearing spiritual glasses see the world? Like a master, and by a master it means permanent residence here, permanent, temporary, temporary residence here, like a traveler, like a traveler. And so everyone is on a journey, and everyone is a traveler. And so I can use everything, I can interact and engage in every relationship without owning, without attaching the label my. Yes. And the more I do this, I free myself internally and I put myself in a better position to help others, to actually help others. Because I can help others within the limits of how much have I helped myself. So if I have helped myself this much to not create expectations, that is, the help I can offer to others. That's the exact, help that I can offer to others. But if I myself, I keep creating expectations, I live from that attitude of slave, and I want to give best values to my children, highest values to my children. I have the best intentions, but I myself live from that attitude of a slave. That won't be possible. Theory won't be, theory is never enough. Everyone knows absolutely right things to do. Everyone knows, none of you sitting here don't know that you shouldn't be thinking negative, you should think positive. Everyone knows that. But how to actually do that? We have to use the right glasses. We have to use the right glasses. And one, little exercise that we have till Saturday. So Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Sunday and Monday you have full freedom to be the way you want. But Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, a small exercise is to have no expectations, complete master. So not people, not situations, yes, and not matter. How can matter be our master? How can matter be our master? The 5 elements. Can they be our master? More so in Melbourne. More so in Melbourne. You just saw it's going to be sunny day and now it's raining. Oh gosh, why is it raining? Yeah. So can that happen? So even matter, cannot be my master. Yes. clouds have decided to come up and we have a thunderstorm and rainstorm. That's okay. I am while I was making that plan for Saturday and Sunday, I will keep that in mind that something else can happen. Yeah. I will see, I will check all the temperature and degree and everything, but being prepared. Yes. And it saves me, just having this little homework saves me um, hours and hours of, feeling hurt, disappointed, sad, upset, blaming, feeling like, poor me. There is a competition that goes in the world, in our office and everywhere that we go. Many competitions go on, but this one competition goes on, particularly more, I don't know how much in your family, but I have seen the worst in life. Do you see that competition? If you start talking about, I have seen this much in my life, this happened to me, someone else will just walk in. Well, my life, I can't even tell you when I was 5, then this happened, that happened. So this competition, this is everywhere, and we want to win trophy in this competition. Poor me, poor me. I have faced so much. I have been through, and it's like a compliment, once someone says to you, really, you have been through so much. That it's like, yes, I've got the medal. Now I can sleep very peacefully. Now I have got this, ultimate trophy. I have been through so much. Yeah. And so, we can free ourselves from this competition and also free others. It will be a nice shift to create everywhere that we go, just a small shift. And it's a nice shift. It will benefit everyone. So, any comments from here? Any thoughts, any questions?
Just one question. So when we talk about expectation from others, but what about ourselves? Like we shouldn't be expecting, or like how do we deal with ourselves when we think about ourselves that I can do this, but
Yeah.
sometimes we can't, or
Yeah.
so how do we deal with ourselves?
Yeah, that's a nice question. How do we deal with expectations from ourselves? And even when we talk about ourselves, there are two things. Maybe we will look into it a lot deeper, in next sessions. But one is who I am, and the other aspect is the roles that I'm playing. So, um, me as a mother, me as a manager, me as a neighbor, me as a daughter-in-law, whatever. And so we usually have expectations from our own roles. So and roles, some roles are quite defined. As I said, mother, daughter-in-law, those roles are quite defined. But some roles have become like a personality that we define ourselves by. So I've been brought up, being told, she's such a hardworking girl, she's so sincere, she's so sincere. And we don't realize, but I've made quite a strong image of myself being sincere. And so, there's a kitty party going on. Everyone's quite light about what they're going to bring for lunch. But I am the one who is like, I have to get this and get that ready. And so it's my, that's some sort of pressure that I feel I have to perform and I have to do so well. And who is putting that pressure is the expectation that I have from my role. So my role, maybe people put me in that comparison. Somehow it has happened. We don't need to go into the reasons why it has happened, but maybe I was in a environment where there are 3 sisters and one sister is this and so I feel, I have more expectations from myself as a school going girl or in mathematics or something, something happens because of which we create expectations from our roles as well. Yes. And reasons are not important, but the solution is important, that having expectations from myself in different roles, that too, I can have I can have the best intentions, but ultimately even that I cannot necessarily control. No, why we can't control that, we'll see. We'll see. But it's just like it's a role, and it depends on many factors that are outside me. So the role of a manager is dependent on a lot of things. And so if I am able to control everything that it depends on, then I can control my behavior as a manager, or my role as a manager, my delivery, all of that as a manager. But if I can't control everything associated to that, I really can't control my performance as a manager. No? And so just having the best intentions, having the best, maybe I am a friend who, always likes to help all the friends whenever they are in trouble. And I have the best intentions, but sometimes something happens even after when I have the best intentions. It's just that I can't do it. you know? And so there is this, unsaid guilt. There is some sort of a pressure that I'm not a good friend, something. And so that is just my expectation with my role. So letting go of that, because I am the one who is performing these roles, but I am not the role. And so the roles are also just a label, just a tag, but they don't define me 100%. So your child can say that, my friend's mom is the best, she makes the best brownies. And then you can feel like, so these sort of things you can't really. And the more we are associated with our roles, we feel that I have to be the best mom, I have to be the best this and best that and best. But when I am in the best attitude, which is of being a master, then I can do everything the best. No? But if I've lost myself in that first step, my positioning inside is of a slave, expecting this, expecting that, expecting my child to say that I'm the best mother, or expecting my friend to say that I am some sort of expectation, then I've already lost who I am. And then I have lot of expectations from my own roles. And also I will feel some sort of obligation to fulfill everyone else's expectations. Sorry, not roles, expectations. No? And again, if I am able to help someone, that's great. Someone needs help, I can help them. That is great. But if someone is demanding, to be this way and that way, and I feel that I can't do something about it, even though I don't want to, but I can't say no, I've, yeah, I've created a wrong impression to others that they can have expectations from me. And usually the nicest people, they give that impression. Yeah. And so the nicest people are the people whom everyone expects everything. And so the nicest people also suffer the most because they are so nice. And, so that's why I have to see what do you want to be? Do you want to be nice in everyone's eyes and always be sad? Or some people do say that, she's this way and he's that way, but you're happy. So I have to decide at the end of the day, because in our society, it's very much about what they will say, what they will say, what she will say. So in our society, that idea is quite popular. It's never about what your parents will think, what your friends will, but what they will say. Yeah, what will people say? So we are taught that, we teach that sort of culture. And the more we do that, we are creating people who are very they respect everyone, they are so nice, they are so kind, and they are the most broken ones. No? They are the ones who say, I'm the most depressed person. So we don't need to do that. We can shift that. We can shift that. Any other question? Yeah.
like you said, there's an exercise for us to do for the next 3 coming days.
Yeah.
So what if, because it can't happen like overnight and it will take some time. So what happens like if we are again having some expectations, we
Yeah.
have to do in that particular moment to take us back to this thing and
Yeah, to take us back. So we're talking about the homework here. So that's why we've said 3 days, because because it won't happen in one day. And so 3 days, so we allow ourselves 3 days to not have any expectations and thereby no complaints, no blame, and that whole chain of emotions and the game that goes on. But for that, you very rightly pointed out, if we have expectations and we do end up in that situation, it's really good, it's such a good step that we are actually observing our expectations. So this 3 days, we we are looking at what do we actually expect from people that are around us, and so it will give us a very good picture of my own expectations. And you know you may have 30 people in your life, but you will see at the end of 3 days, our expectations are not 30 different expectations. It's the same thing. It comes down to two or three things that we expect from 30 people. So it will give us a very good idea. We just, like how science says that, and even our experience, that most of our thoughts are cyclical. We think the same things. So from morning to night, we are doing so much and we are thinking so many things, but it's not 100 different things. It's the same thing. What are you going to have for lunch? What are you going to have for dinner? Okay, that's pretty standard. But other things, it's the same thoughts, cyclical. So even expectations, it's the same expectations. From child, from husband, from wife, from boss, from manager. If we really observe our expectations, so it's good. It may be that we do feel some hurt, some disappointment, but our focus is to see what am I expecting. So the energy will change. Energy is not of being upset, but it's of curiosity. What do I actually expect? Keep expecting. Another thing is that we will be prepared, you know, especially in our relationships that are the closest ones, three closest relationships, very prepared, giving any instruction, telling them what to do, give it with full authority, no compromise on that, homework, 2 hours, you have to do it, 100% authority, everything good, but master inside. Tell one instruction, something else can happen. Just for myself. It's not that I am manifesting something else will happen. No, I will give myself that permission, that sensibility, just that sensibility, something else can happen. 2 hours, he might not do anything. Yeah. So just having that, you will see that we will give the same instruction again, but there is no trace of anger in it. There is no trace. So there's no problem in saying the same thing 20 times. If you have to ask someone, don't put your clothes here, don't put your bag here, put it in this place. I've told you 1,000 times. I can tell it 1,000 times, and every time without any anger, without any irritation. 1,000 times, you can tell it. You can say, there's no problem in saying. We can even do things 1,000 times, and we do it. Every day we will, take their shoes, put it in the right spot, but with so much agitation, so many expectations. So, it's very easy to do the same thing, to say the same thing, but minus this energy of slave. Slave lives in that uh, energy where he feels that he has no freedom. No freedom to sit, walk, do anything. He always has a master on his head. So we don't have a master on our head. Let's start with that. No masters. And I am the master. So being prepared beforehand, just a minute of consciousness, a minute of being conscious, just 1 minute. And so even as we walk out here, uh, a minute of being conscious. When I go back home, I may have told them, do this, put this in the dishwasher. There is a possibility nothing of that sort would have happened. It's okay. No, let's go. So it's very wise. It's a sign of wisdom to be prepared for the unexpected. Yeah. And so if I keep doing that, exercising this power, there is absolutely nothing that I will not be, prepared for. Everything. Life can offer me anything, and I'm prepared. And that's a very high, character to have. Good character to have. So we will do a couple of minutes of meditation, and we will, practice that. But any comments online? Any comments online?
Yeah, we have a couple of questions.
Yeah, we can just
One,
take two of them maybe today.
how can me as a mother know how to draw a line between discipline and pushy parents?
Yeah, same thing. That same thing as we spoke. Discipline is one thing. Saying the instructions again, doing things physically. Pushy means that energy of expectation. Yeah? And that energy of expectation comes across as dominating, bossy, pushing. So just that space of no expectations. Whenever someone, right now we know in the world we live in that our children can feel more confident in sharing something with their friends, that they just made 3 months ago, and they're telling them about their whole life, or on Facebook they haven't even seen that person and they're sharing everything. And why is that? Why do you think that happens? Even for us, we feel, uh, sometimes that has that ever happened? I'm not sure, but if you're physically, suffering, or something has happened and you don't want to tell anyone, your parents in another country, you don't want to tell your family in another country, and you say, no, they'll get very disturbed. So you are in pain physically and mentally, and they are the loved ones, and we deliberately decide not to tell them because we know that they will suffer. No? So, loved ones, should I be involving loved ones in my life, or should I be, not telling them things? Loved ones, what does it mean? That we should share, right? We should be able to share. But we know that if I share, they'll be very, they'll be more disturbed than me. Yeah. And so, why is that? Why does that happen? And if I were to share it with a counselor that I've never met in my life, I can tell them everything. I can cry in front of them. I can tell them my past, my, all very happily. What's the what's the difference? I can't tell my parents, yeah, but I can tell a counselor. That's the difference between discipline and pushy. That's the answer to that question, right?
Maybe because our parents have high expectations from us and we will show our vulnerable part to them. So that's what we don't want to show. And parents, a stranger or counselor, we know that, okay, he has nothing, he's just doing the
Yeah.
job. So we share everything.
Share everything.
Because there's no fear of any kind of.
Yes.
Maybe.
Yeah. And so a third person has no expectations. They don't have any expectations that you shouldn't make any mistake, you shouldn't have done that. They have no expectations. With people who we are very close to, there is an attachment. There is an idea of how you should be. And I have an image of how I should be, and I'm not able to, accept that myself, let alone my closed ones. Even our friends can tell us at the weakest time that how could you do it? How could you make that decision? And that hurts even more. So the only difference why in our society, why everywhere in the world, we are able to share everything with a third person, paying them money and sharing. And here we have the best relationships and not able to share anything. Not able to share anything. The reason is that pushy energy, expectations. A counselor will just accept me as I am. No, they have no expectations. They have no ideas of how you should have been in school, how you should have been with your kids, no ideas. And so with each other, if we have that, energy that I accept you as you are. Sometimes we are more close to our friends than our siblings. Yeah. And so with friends, no expectations. They just accept me as they are. So the whole game is about expectations and acceptance. So if there is no expectations, there I feel accepted. If there is no demand from me to be this way, I feel accepted. But if someone else has a demand from me to be this way, but it's their problem, you know, everyone's expectations, just like my expectation is my problem, their expectation is their problem. I can fulfill it, but sometimes I can't. And so it's their department to deal with. Yeah, it's not my area. It's not my problem ever. Me being a slave is my problem. Someone else being a slave, someone else expecting me, that's not my problem. So yes, so that's the answer to that question. But the other question is the last one.
So if a kid doesn't want to follow the correct way, then how can we teach her without expecting that she will be correct?
Yeah, same thing, applies to instead of a kid, put yourself in that position. If if people ask me to be a certain way, and they're expecting every day someone, my parent tells me, wake up early, study on time and do this and do that. And do you get the motivation to do it? Like if you are wanting to lose weight, you are wanting to wake up early in the morning, you are wanting to walk every day in your routine, and you know that you have tried and you're not able to, succeed, but someone else has that expectation from you every day. Why don't you walk? Why don't you wake up in the morning? You should do it. They have the best intentions. They want you to wake up for your benefit. They want you to go for a walk for your benefit. But that energy of expectations, demoralizes anyone. So if there's an expectation from me to wake up at this time, to study, to exercise, to do this, to do that, best intentions, but just that energy of expectation demoralizes the one, who is being expected. So it demoralizes the one who is expecting and also the one who it is aimed at. So the question is that how do I still, make my kids obey, if without expecting, having that energy of acceptance, just letting that energy of acceptance be in, being prepared that I will tell them, but something else can happen. That is acceptance. That is what, the minute you see that the other person is open to the idea of you being a different way, it just allows you to be the way you are. No? If someone tells you that it's okay, I want you to do this, but you see how you can. When that burden is taken away, you will want to do that. No, yeah, no, I'll make time for that. But if there's this obligation, then it's quite hard. So creating that acceptance, having that acceptance. Acceptance is the virtue of a master. It's the quality of a master, and expectation is a quality of a slave. Yes. So we are all masters here. In spirituality, the understanding is that each one is a master. No one is a slave. No one is a born slave. So each one is born as a master. So let's realize that power. Let's just realize that our true, caliber. And so from here we can create this shift. So wherever we are going back today, go back with this understanding. Everything can change, everything will change. That's the law. That's no one's fault. It's the law. No, change is the only constant. And I cannot control anything in my environment. I can plan, I can make vision, I can have ambitions, but not control. Yes. And see what happens when you don't control, when you have no intention of controlling, when you have no intention of expecting, see the magic that happens. There's some magic that will happen. And so the magic that you've been expecting while expecting, but now when you actually, just minus this idea of expectation, completely live as a master, you'll see some sort of magic in your environment. And that's the beauty. Yeah. So let's just have 5 minutes of meditation, 5-10 minutes. So you're welcome to close your eyes or open your eyes, anything that's comfortable. In these minutes, I acknowledge internally that there is sound outside. There is sound all around me. There is movement, action, a lot of action happening outside. And let me leave that as it is. And I just look at this whole environment as a traveler, as a tourist, perspective of a tourist. Just like we go to a new place, and we have no idea of what's going to happen there. As a traveler, as a tourist, there is curiosity in my eyes. A tourist is always walking around with a camera. He's not chasing anything perfect, the perfect weather. He's just wanting to see everything as it is, without owning anything, without claiming anything. And a tourist has eyes of a child. He's happy, he's light, he's curious. Remember the time when you went on a holiday or a vacation, and as a tourist, using everything, visiting different places, interacting with different people. And everything was good. Everyone was good. And that's the same reality at the place that I work, at the place that I'm living, that I call home. That's the same reality. Everything is good and everyone is good. When I use the spiritual glasses, I see from the eyes of a tourist who is just a visitor. The office, the home, family, different people that I meet. Just a visitor. And a visitor or a tourist is the most respectable person in any scenario. They are given the highest hospitality. They are offered gifts. In this case, internally introducing this idea, I am a guest, I am a visitor, I am a tourist. And naturally, a tourist knows that he has everything to use for his task, but he doesn't own anything. And this natural care and natural love, this authentic lightness, very authentically feeling responsible for things and for people without any burden, without any pressure. It's authentic sincerity. This authentic attitude creates an environment of easiness, lightness. And I can just visualize in 1 minute that I go back to the environment that I left an hour ago. I'm entering that environment again. Completely brand new eyes, brand new glasses. Maybe some things are out of order. Maybe some people are behaving a certain way. But a visitor doesn't mind anything. The beauty of a visitor is he has no expectations. And that's why everyone loves him. And so let me have new glasses and see through these ideas and these glasses the people I think I know, the places I believe I know. Let me look at them from new glasses. Let me assume that what if I don't know them? What if I don't own this place? So I am free, I am easy, and I am happy. I'm very happy, very easy, absolutely free. Om Shanti. Thank you. Thank you.